Welcome to the Divine Names Mystery Ministry, another video. This video is, we are still on question 13, now on article 2. Question 13 has to do with the names of God. Article 2 asks whether any name can be applied to God substantially. Objection 1. It seems that no name can be applied to God substantially. For Damascene says, everything said of God signifies not his substance, rather shows forth what he is not, or expresses some relation or something following from his nature or operation. Reply to Objection 1. Damascene says that these names do not signify what God is, for as much as by none of these names is perfectly expressed what he is, but each one signifies him in an imperfect manner, even as creatures represent him imperfectly. Objection 2. Further, Dionysius says in his Divine Names, you will find a chorus of holy doctors addressed to the end of distinguishing clearly and praiseworthily the divine processions in the denomination of God. Thus, the names applied by the holy doctors in praising God are distinguished according to the divine processions themselves. But what expresses the procession of anything does not signify its essence. Therefore, the names applied to God are not said of him substantially. Thomas's reply to Objection 2. In the significance of names, that from which the name is derived is different sometimes from what it is intended to signify. As for instance, this name stone is imposed from the fact that it hurts the foot, but it is not imposed to signify that which hurts the foot, but rather to signify a certain kind of body. Otherwise, everything that hurts the foot would be a stone. And this refers to the Latin etymology of the word lapis, which has no place in English. So we must say that these kinds of divine names are imposed from the divine processions, for as according to the diverse processions of their perfections, creatures are the representations of God, although in an imperfect manner. So likewise, our intellect knows and names God according to each kind of procession. But nevertheless, one moment, big truck outside. But nevertheless, these names are not imposed to signify the procession themselves, as if when we say, God lives, the sense were, life proceeds from him, but to signify the principle itself of things, insofar as life pre-exists in him, although it pre-exists in him in a more eminent way than can be understood or signified. Objection 3. Further, a thing is named by us according as we understand it, but God is not understood by us in this life in his substance. Therefore, neither is any name we can use applied substantially to God. Thomas replies to Objection 3. We cannot know the essence of God in this life as he really is in himself, but we know him accordingly as he is represented in the perfections of creatures. And thus the names imposed by us signify him in that manner only. On the contrary, Augustine says in his De Trinitate, the being of God is the being strong, or the being wise, or whatever else we may say of that simplicity whereby his substance is signified. Therefore all names of this kind signify the divine substance. I answer that negative names applied to God, or signifying his relation to creatures, manifestly do not at all signify his substance, but rather express the distance of the creature from him, or his relation to something else, or rather, the relation of creatures to himself. But as regards absolute and affirmative names of God, as good, wise, and the like, various and many opinions have been given. For some have said that all such names, although they are applied to God affirmatively, nevertheless have been brought into use more to express some remotion from God, rather than to express anything that exists positively in him. Hence, they assert that when we say that God lives, we mean that God is not like an inanimate thing. And the same, in like manner, applies to other names, and this was taught by Rabbi Moses. Others say that these names applied to God signify his relationship towards creatures. Thus, in the words, God is good, we mean God is the cause of goodness in things, and the same rule applies to other names. Both of these opinions, however, seem to be untrue for 3 reasons. First, because in neither of them can reason be assigned why some names more than others are applied to God, for he is assuredly the cause of bodies in the same way as he is the cause of good things. Therefore, if the words God is good signified no more than God is the cause of good things, it might in like manner be said that God is a body, inasmuch as he is the cause of bodies. So also to say that he is a body implies that he is not a mere potentiality, as is primary matter. Secondly, because it would follow that all names applied to God would be said of him by way of being taken in a secondary sense, as healthy is secondarily said of medicine, for as much as it signifies only the cause of the health in the animal which primarily is called healthy. Thirdly, because this is against the intention of those who speak of God, for in saying that God lives, they assuredly mean more than to say that he is the cause of our life, or that he differs from inanimate objects or bodies. Therefore, we must hold a different doctrine, that these names signify the divine substance and are predicated substantially of God, although they fall short of a full representation of him, which is proved thus. For these names express God so far as our intellect know him. Now, since our intellect knows God from creatures, it knows him as far as creatures represent him. Now, it is shown above that God prepossesses in himself all the perfections of creatures, being himself simply and universally perfect. Hence, every creature represents him, and is like him so far as it possesses some perfection. Yet it represents him not as something of the same species or genus, but as the excelling principle of whose form the effects fall short, although they derive some kind of likeness thereto, even as the forms of inferior bodies represent the power of the sun. This was explained above, in treating of the divine perfection. Therefore, the aforesaid names signify the divine substance, but in an imperfect manner, even as creatures represent it imperfectly. So when we say God is good, the meaning is not, God is the cause of goodness, or God is not evil, but the meaning is, whatever good we attribute to creatures pre-exists in God, and in a more excellent and higher way. Hence, it does not follow that God is good because he causes goodness, but rather, on the contrary, he causes goodness in things because he is good, according to what Augustine says in his On Christian Doctrine. Because he is good, we are. That is Article 2 of Question 13 in the Prima Pars of St. Thomas Aquinas' Summa Theologica. And in the next video, we will be going over Article 3. See you then. Thank you.